want to thank the Almighty God that at the end of the day, the mandate freely given to me by my people has been restored by the Supreme Court. Secondly, I understand very clearly the challenges and the situation in Imo State. Even before now, only a few days ago, when I got to Imo State, I discovered that the salaries were not being paid in full. And the reason being that the money coming from Abuja, the Federation account, is not sufficient. What I did was to cut down the running cost. I cut down the running cost and forfeited the security vote donated to this governor, made up the money, and we were able to pay salaries 100% to all the civil servants. I also directed that the local government funds should be sent straight to local government until such a time the state is ready to release 10% of their IGR to local government. Then we can now begin to do the business of JAC, Joint Allocation Committee. So I'm sure for 12 years, no governor visited the civil service secretariat. I was there 2 days ago. Some of your colleagues went with me. And water has never been available to the secretariat for the past 9 years. 2 days after my visit, water is running there now. They've been connected back to electricity, and all the generators are being worked on now. So my mandate is about the people. My government will just be about the people. And by the grace of God, I will not disappoint their expectations. And I'm sure they will see good governance from a man with experience, working in consultation with the political stakeholders in the state. I think we can do it differently, and the narrative will be acceptable to the people. On arrival to Imo State, I've been able to do reasonable consultations. I've visited the leaders from the political class, and like you must have heard and seen, the party is properly reconciling, and leaders are coming back together, even across board. 27 members of the House of Assembly, 25 are now APC. They've decamped to APC. The state chairman of PDP in Imo State and the 7 members of his ESCO has decamped to APC. So APC is building, and the momentum is growing from day to by the day. So the issue of reconciliation is being given serious attention. What really happened in Imo State is not about the political party. It's about the way the election was conducted. Because the case I took to court was the exclusion of results of 388 polling units, which INEC did not cancel, and which INEC also did not collect. So I asked INEC, why did you not include results that you have announced at the polling units? And no question, this question was not answered. So I went to court. I was not quarreling with the conduct of the election. I was not quarreling with my votes that were cancelled by INEC. But what of these ones that were not cancelled and were not collected, which INEC had the originals and refused to bring the originals? And we presented the original duplicate given to our party agents to the court. And when they dragged and they insisted that the one given to securities should be brought for comparison, the police were issued a subpoena. They brought theirs, and it tallied with what we had. And then the court took this decision. At the level of the appeal court agreed with us, but later changed. God knows why they changed. But however, some senior officers of INEC from the southeast.
You had a minority judgment at the court.
Yes. At the appeal court, yes, we had a dissenting judgment. Yes, a dissenting judgment. You must have read about that. So all we are asking is that the members of INEC should remain neutral, especially in the southeast. Some senior officers of INEC from southeast are obviously PDP card-carrying members. To the extent that once the result is not in favor of that PDP, they will go all out to upturn the result. We had an election a few days ago, Saturday. You must have heard what happened there. But this is going to be a business for another day. But I think I urge all of you to join hands, let us build a very strong democracy where equity, justice, and fair play will be the order of the day. So on the issue of the legacies of Sam Mbakwe, of course, if you know Chief Sam Mbakwe during his days, during campaign, he came out with a blueprint, a manifesto. He made promises, and that document he followed to the letter until the democracy was truncated. Campaigning as a candidate of APC, I had my manifesto built on 3R: rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery. You will agree with me with what I've just said that have happened 2 days ago. It's part of the recovery. We're also now trying to design an implementation plan for all those promises we made. In less than 3-4 days now, I'll bring out my implementation plan with timelines. God is willing, if we have the appropriate funding, we'll follow that document judiciously. And I'm sure the Imo people will be better off for it. And I'll bring prosperity to the state. Yeah, the first thing to address now is security, the problem of insecurity in the state. Kidnapping, armed robbery, and all that has been on the increase. So, and there is this apprehension that people are no longer safe staying in their various homes. So the thing has become so rampant that government must stand up now and do a bold decision, something that must be courageous and bold to ensure that every citizen will have that sense of security. If that is addressed, we'll now begin to look at the infrastructural gaps. The roads are not accessible. So many roads are in bad shape. So from one point of the Owerri town to another point, people spend 4 hours, 5 hours. So these are some of the things. We will start by immediate, medium-term, and long-term plan. So we are still also working. It is part of what will be contained in that our document. But we already established priority areas: education, agriculture. All these are priority areas. Then government has no business being direct business people. We'll try to see how we can introduce PPP, public-private partnership, and bring private sector investors to also help grow our economy. We are interested in reviving the industries that has gone moribund because of lack of electricity, because of lack of potable water, because of lack of access road. I'm going to, living here now, I'm going to talk with the Department of Petroleum Resources. We already have a gas pipeline that terminates at Owerri Navy Barracks. So if they gives us the approval, we want to bring private people that will take gas to our industrial layout, so that all the industries will have that gas pipeline as their source of power supply. And that way, the cost of doing business will come down, and the businessmen will be encouraged. We are going to stimulate the economy and bring life back to our people. Yeah. Already coming with an agri program, because the issue of food security is very, very important. We only 2 days ago, I've directed my permanent secretary, Minister of Agri, to come up with, because before I got him back to Imo State, they've already passed the budget for the year. And that budget had their own priorities and programs. Of course, most of them are not consistent with the programs of my own political party and what I think that will be better for our state. So they are now identifying for me, for instance, rice, the areas in Imo State that we can grow rice. Then they're also identifying for me the other areas where we can do other farming. The herdsmen, I don't forget, I represented a constituency that has Muslims and Christians. So the Muslims are in Imo State are my friends, and I've been working with them for the past 8 years in the Senate. And when I announced my cabinet, you see that there are some members that are Muslims, and some are Christians. So the issue of national unity and national integration is uppermost in my mind, because that is also another way of ensuring that everybody is, we are all safe as citizens. So then the national policies on agriculture, where they are collecting all the policies on agriculture which they will bring. There's already a small technical committee. You know, my deputy governor was the vice chancellor, University of Agriculture, Oguwike Nwachukwu. So he's also an agriculturalist. He's now sharing a committee to come up with a full program for agric to ensure food security for our people.